Hi everyone, and today I want to talk about the subject of meditation. So, yes, meditation is basically a practice that I've started to consider almost as important in my life as brushing my teeth or taking a bath. Because meditation, if we were to say it in one sentence, it's basically taking a bath for your soul. Because we know that today, I don't know if you know, but we live in a society, a society that kind of is built in a way to make sure we're always in a position of stress and anxiety. So, what I mean by that, let's say that a little object lesson. You see this? This is your mind. And this is really how society teaches us to live. School, gotta get to homework in time, job, family, and then our heads are always disturbed, never at peace. And then, before it even has time to stop, we keep running and running and running, and then, a little break, and then we keep running. So basically, what meditation is basically the art of being still, just allowing all the waves in our minds, our thoughts, the anxiety, the stress to just calm down, and eventually you see the water stops moving around, and eventually it calms down and it's tense, peace, and in stillness. So that was all for the object lesson. So yeah, meditation. So, like I said, our society teaches us to be running left and right, never really have a time to breathe. And the thing is that in my own life, as I've started practicing meditation, just learning to be peace, being still, I've noticed some important benefits. Basically, it's that I've started realizing that there was always this background sound. Sometimes you hear this background sound or little in your ears. Well, it was like there was this thing, but with anxiety that I haven't even realized that how much anxiety my body was in, how much stress, how much I was running, and never really having the ability to be at peace. Always less focus. And the thing is, meditation is what gives us access for our body to start resting, for us to entering this place where our biology starts to heal. The place where we can get the new, innovative, and creative ideas to actually get out of that rat race that we're used to live on. So meditation is basically the idea of dwelling on what it is that you're turning your thoughts towards dwelling on. It's the mastering of our attention. Meditation can have a bad reputation among certain Christian circles because as people say that, you're allowing the devil to come in, which actually makes no sense because this art of meditation is actually shedding away to give more place, to clear our soul so that the channel between our spirit and our body has more space to go through. Again, spirit, soul, body. So really you're just calming your mind, you're allowing old patterns, old belief, old emotion, old pattern of thought, of emotional stress and anxiety to kind of shed away as you let the Spirit of God flow through you better. So yeah, you can, like I said, you can call it a bath for your soul because some of us, we've got it so much. Let's talk about the soul for a second. That's the place of consciousness of our thought, emotions, and also information. And the thing is, some of our souls are so we've been taught to receive, feed out of information. We have so much information, so much energy, so much thought patterns, so much beliefs that are in our heads that we haven't actually given the time to digest. What meditation does, it starts regulating those stuff. It starts going through all the files in your mind and kind of sheds away, it gives you kind of it clears the lens. It clears the lens of your mind. So through meditation, you become much more aware of your thought patterns, your beliefs, things, emotional pattern that you've gotten used to, that you've started wearing as your own identity, and it'll help you start shedding those things away, becoming more aware of yourself. The place where maybe you might be lying to yourself about certain things that you say you believe, but you don't actually noticing ways that you've acted toward other people, and then you're like, I'd like to change that, or even hurts and pains in the past that you've had that you haven't really dealt with that might come up just for the chance of being seen and being purged away, so you can just practice letting those things go. help you become much more aware of yourself and just navigate life through much more peace. Which is why you'll notice as you start meditating more focus, more ability to enter a state of flow, to just focus on a task and not have your mind go many ways. So yeah, being still, this art of contemplation. There's the verse in 2 Corinthians 3:18. There's a verse that says, as we contemplate the Lord as in a mirror, we are being renewed. We are being transfigured from grace to grace by the Spirit of God. So this art of contemplation, of contemplating either the qualities of our spirit, love, peace, joy, thanksgiving, or just meditating and dwelling on this nothingness, just closing your eyes and focusing just on the darkness, on the nothingness, and allowing the thoughts to pop off here and left. What you're going to notice as you start meditating and just being still. And there's something that's really interesting that I've noticed as I've tried to teach meditation to other people, especially when I used to be a youth pastor with my youth. There was a time where I tried making them do that. And some of them, they've noticed that they had trouble because they said they couldn't meditate because there were so many thoughts distracting them. But the thing is, that's actually kind of part of meditation. Just allowing those things to go, not trying to control, not trying to think of nothing and see nothing and I gotta make sure that forcing it. No, it's just relaxing, just letting those thoughts go through, ta 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 ta, just like popcorns, ta 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 ta. You know, when you put it in the microwave. But eventually what happens is it kind of stops. Just like the water, it spins because you've been doing all sorts of stuff in the outside world, picking information, doing things, and then you calm down and you sit down and you just start processing. So yeah, it's normal if at the beginning there's all this, there's peace, there's this unrest, but you're kind of shedding those away until you can enter that place where it's just calm and peace. You kind of dissociate yourself from your thoughts and are able to notice them. And there is this peace that's going to come eventually. What happens is there are things in your subconscious that have been there, maybe even things that the Lord has sown into your heart. You're going to notice things, thoughts out of nowhere that are going to pop off. Ideas or just sentences, things about yourself that you've been holding in your heart. Maybe old beliefs that you're going to ask, oh, where did I pick that up from? And you're going to notice also sometimes this peacefulness of God, just the presence of God flowing in more naturally. Because remember, there was a time where in my prayer life, what happened? There was a time where there was this shift from outwards prayer where I would always talk to God when I associated prayer with talking, but I wouldn't take the time to listen. I would talk to God and then bam, it's over. But now what happened is this. It was as if I was praying, but naturally I'd stop talking and then I'd just stay there. And I was like, oh no, I need to keep talking, right? I need to pray to God. You know, this idea of praying to a God outside of me. Then I kept talking, and then eventually I'd stop naturally. And I was like, oh, there's something wrong with it. It happened like so often that eventually I just allowed myself to stop talking. And I just dwelled, just stayed in it. Eventually I'd reach this place of just peace, of just growing feeling of peace and just being almost as I was being at peace in my own body with myself, and would just feel good. And eventually that's this kind of peacefulness I keep seeking, and I would change the way I prayed, where it wasn't just talking, but sometimes if I had something in my heart, I would be honest with God, I would tell it. But eventually, like maybe 5 or minutes or something, but most of my prayer would be just being still, taking this time to just allow anything that the Lord had to say. Because as I practice this place of stillness, this is where I noticed that my ability to hear, to sense what God was saying, the emotion, the images that He was giving me, some sentences that would pop up, in the screen of my imagination. They would become clearer and clearer. My ability to hear the voice of God would become just clearer. Because it's like an antenna would kind of align my frequency to God's frequency. It's almost like, again, here God is trying to bring to your mind, to your conscious mind, information, things I want to say, but your waters are troubled. You don't get, there's no clear connection. But as you allow the waters to just still themselves, eventually it's like the voice can eventually just come out clearer. So yeah. So a little exercise for meditation. Basically, what I do personally, which works for me, is this: I just take a place where no sounds, no disturbance. I just sit down, I close my eyes, and I relax. And I don't try to stop my thoughts. I don't try to control my thoughts. I just stay there and fix emptiness, and I allow the things to pop out here, there, and I just stay there. I recommend like even 15 minutes, 10, 15 minutes, maybe once or twice a day. As you make it a habit, you'll notice you're gonna, maybe at first it's uncomfortable, right? You want to move, you want to do something, but eventually the more you practice, the more you get a desire for that peace. And you'll notice, maybe the first times you try doing this, what might happen is you might fall asleep, because again, we live in a society where we're stressed, anxious. We got to do something, so we got to keep the wheel turning, right wheel. But your body wasn't actually made to live under so much stress. So as soon as it notices that you take your time to be peaceful, you might just your soul might just knock you out like this, because it actually realizes that your body might be under so much stress that it needs to take rest. So you might happen to fall asleep as you start practicing meditation, but you'll get used to it. So meditation, it also trains your soul to turn away from the outside world and focus on the inner world. You kind of you go within. When you pray, go into the inner chamber. When you disconnect from the outside world, the physical, and you connect to the kingdom within. Change your focus. What else? So we talked about the benefits: more focus, more peace, more ability to it allows you a better ability to not get tossed out by the events of life, tossed around. When something happens, maybe you notice you have bad reactions to people saying things or acting a certain way. But what happens is often our reaction is based on our inner state first, because when you wake up grumpy, or when you've had a good night of rest, when you're almost like kind of two different people. And when you go through life as those two different beings, the person that's grumpy gets annoyed at a lot of things more than the person who has had a good night of sleep. So basically, you're training yourself to actually be at peace with outside events that happen to you. More rest to your body. And meditation is a practice that allows you to raise your level of frequency, raise your focus, raise your level of consciousness, which is good for everything basically. So and it can have really life-changing benefits. So that's pretty much all for today. That's a practice of meditation, and I really encourage you to start maybe 10-15 minutes a day if you've never done it, and just be diligent with it, because you're gonna notice those change eventually. Have a good day. Bless you.